Hey everybody, B-Rod here, and we are back with Deadly Premonition 2! This time I am here for it. Last time there were some mic issues and just... tired. Did it on a weekday. Wanted to get into the game, and it's not really worth the commentary or trying to save it after there were issues, so we're back. And we are starting off back in Lucare. So this is before the first game, which is weird. Alright.
You said the victim was a 16-year-old. Did you know her?
Well, sure. I reckon the whole town did.
Meaning?
She's Lise Clarkson, the little grandbaby of the Clarkson family.
That explains it all. I'm not from here,
the
bro.
Clarkson family?
That's right. You ain't seen they sign on your way in here? The one above that huge cold storage complex. Should have had a dragonfly on it. Anyway, that's the Clarkson family seal. They own most of the land around here, from the sugar plantations right down to the food processing plant. Yeah, I reckon they got a stake in just about everything. They even own the water tower on the edge of town, you know. They're the ones who built up this town, and they still support it.
Okay.
What
do you know about the Clarksons' house?
Now, I ain't got nothing bad to say, but I'm gonna talk straight to you. You best steer clear of that place. That family ain't just some gang. They're a whole different kind of beast. They folks with real power. Remnants of the good old boys who shaped America in the early days. Especially the head of the family, P.J. Clarkson. He's the kind of monster who goes around eating other monsters. And I'm sure he's on edge now with his granddaughter getting murdered and all. So don't go barging in with that shiny FBI badge of yours and think you'll be safe for nothing. Things are different down here. So if you plan on sticking around, you best remember that.
I see. I'll keep that in mind. Is the local law enforcement investigating the case?
Shoot, mister, what you think? Now, I told you this ain't no city. We in the bonafide boondocks here. They got to know how to break up fights and keep folks from killing each other when they pissed you off. They sit down and talk it out with you heart to heart, and when that don't work, they just beat your ass. That's the deep south for you. This murder ain't like that, though. A little kid got killed. A weird way. Like something on a TV show. The sheriff's department ain't never seen nothing like this.
Live and Let Die, Angel Heart, and the Pelican Brief. Right? 9 out of 10 people will name those titles when you ask them to think of a film set in New Orleans. They're all excellent movies, but to me they lack realism. Due to my line of work, I have a tendency to think deeply about what feels real and what doesn't.
What's your point?
Cat people. That's my point. Cat people. 1982, directed by Paul Schrader. The crowning achievement of Nastasia Kinski, the ultimate muse of the 80s. The most vital element of that movie is the reality it depicts.
Interesting.
Leopards who turn into humans have intercourse with humans and turn back into leopards.
What?
Then they can only turn back into humans again if they mutilate their lovers. I was awestruck by the sheer reality of it all.
Yes. Very real.
Understand? I'm talking about hyper-realism.
Yeah.
After watching it, I felt like I just had to experience the world of cat people for myself. That's why I decided to visit New Orleans.
Okay.
Another vital element of cat people is the presence of Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm McDowell from Blue Thunder. Oh, talk about a masterpiece.
Malcolm McDowell's always in the weird ones.
Listen carefully, David. Only an amateur would call A Clockwork Orange his best movie. His best movies are Cat People and Blue Thunder. Period. You need to remember this, because it's the truth.
Whatever you say, mister. So, what's your point again?
Never mind, don't worry about it. I already covered all the important parts. When you say it was like something from a TV show, what exactly do you mean?
Hey, mister. Why do you look so excited, huh? Like a kid asking grandma to read him a fairy tale.
I just can't seem to keep myself away from young women who died in bizarre ways.
Well, I ain't seen it with my own eyes, but folks say they found the body hanging under a bridge on the bayou. And under that bridge, there was some kind of altar.
An altar?
Like something they use in black magic. Something horrible.
Voodoo?
Nah. Wasn't nothing like that. Just a weird altar.
That's all?
Oh, and the body was all cut up in pieces. Scattered around the altar like.
So she was sacrificed.
That's what the fella who discovered her said, yeah.
Bingo, Zach. This case has got our names all over it.
By the way, Mr. FBI, I ain't seen a car in the parking lot. How'd you get all the way out here, huh? Don't tell me you walked.
Well, that's a very good question. Chef David, you've got a sharp eye. It's true that I didn't park my car in your parking lot. Do you know why?
Can't say I do.
Because it was stolen.
Huh? But you with the FBI, right?
Even FBI cars can be stolen.
It's weird.
It could happen after you park your car on the side of the road and go off to do some legwork. When you're eating lunch, when you're watching a movie, when you're asleep at night, when you're buying cigarettes at the local supermarket. Your car can be stolen anywhere. That's precisely what it means to be an FBI agent. In my case, my car was stolen while I was on my way down here. But no need to worry. I already reported it to the local authorities. And I've also already acquired another mode of transportation.
Okay.
Another mode?
Want to hear the details?
Yes.
Not really.
Hmm.
But I'll listen if you want me to.
Then please do. After I finished my work in Houston, I flew to New Orleans. Then, I rented a car at the airport. Whenever I visit the West Coast, I always rent a convertible, especially in California. But now I'm in hot and sticky Louisiana. So, I decided on a brand new hybrid car with a fully equipped air conditioning system.
A hybrid car?
Oh yes, they're marvelous. Vehicles that utterly defy everything you think you know about cars. Now, in the year 2005, it feels like we've finally entered the 21st century. Stomp down on the gas all you want. The engine won't make a sound.
It's silent?
At first, I felt like the landscape was moving past me on its own. Give it a few more years, and I'm sure we'll start seeing cars that run purely on electricity. And who knows? In a decade or so, electric sports cars may end up lining the parking lots of Silicon Valley. I can see it now. It's the world of The Last Starfighter. 1984, directed by Nick Castle.
Hmm?
It's famous for being the first film to utilize realistic CG, but I couldn't care less about that. See, I was mesmerized by the beautifully refined mech designs. It even made me wish that I could be one of them myself. Especially the Gunstar spacecraft. No other sci-fi movie has ever had.
So, yeah, where'd your hybrid car get stolen?
Sorry, I got off topic. I noticed it was missing after I finished my lunch and walked out of the diner. Incidentally, this diner was located at the entrance to a small town just south off the I-10. I went out to get back in it, but my hybrid car was nowhere to be found. I remembered exactly where I parked it, right between a blue pickup truck and a hedgerow. But when I came back from lunch, it had completely vanished. In short, someone stole it. And in its place, they left me this.
What?
A skateboard.
A skateboard?
Yes. While I was sliding my lunch into my stomach, someone was busy replacing my brand new hybrid car with a wooden board attached to 4 wheels. Remarkable, don't you think?
So then how did you get here?
By riding the skateboard, obviously. Why do you look so surprised? No, I couldn't ride the board very well at first.
But when your rental car
By the time I hit the 3-mile mark, I'd more or less gotten the hang of it.
the rental car company, when they replace the car, 3 miles.
By the 10-mile mark, I'd even learned to do a few tricks. It was a journey of self-discovery. Not even I knew I had this latent talent sleeping inside me.
Alright.
This summer's gonna be another hot one. It's supposed to get over 95 today. Watch out you don't go getting heat stroke.
The Lise Clarkson case needs us. Don't you think so, Zach? The cat people are what guided us to New Orleans. We should be thanking Malcolm McDowell. Once we get home, let's watch Blue Thunder again. I'm already looking forward to it. Aren't you, Zach? Zach. The searing light. These scents. It's the deep south. That was a fabulous breakfast. You're the world's greatest chef.
Wait, mister. You didn't take a single bite.
Well, the tea was to die for. But I'd prefer coffee next time. What would a morning be without coffee?
This is really strange. Which is, you know, the point. Cracking open the case. Return to York's room and review the case. Castle pineapple in York's room. Okay. How do I do things and stuff? I didn't mean to take a capture, but okay. running a little weird. I'm gonna figure out how to save and restart because this was just kind of in sleep mode for a long time. Oh, wow. Do I have money? I have $600. Interesting. And 11 of 30 items. Restores concentration and alleviates drowsiness. Interesting. Check my items and stuff. Tutorial Red Room. Plus allows you to enter the Red Room. Inside you can access the following. Journal contains important quests. Inventory, user discard items. Map, check the map, config. Title screen, album, guidebook, data, link word. Use it with A or discard it with X. Any enemy discard will be lost forever. Non-lethal bullets that can be used in Mr. Alligator. Rubber non-lethal bullets that can be used in Mr. Alligator. Hard to find cigarettes at your club. Slowly pass time. Small first aid kit, so Coke, lollipop. It's weird. I got there by pressing X, not by pressing the plus sign. The original tutorial, pretty sure, said the plus sign. Oh well.
San Rouge. We've been chasing it all over America. But I feel like we're finally on the verge of finding something now. Don't you, Zach? I think it's about time we ordered a new briefcase. Yes, I know this one carries a lot of memories, but it's seen too much. This hole's from the shootout in Tucson. And this stain's from Miami. Miami. Now that was a fascinating case. Billy, our perp, cut his own torso right in two, even with the help of the drugs. A feat like that still requires incredible mental fortitude. I was so impressed that I forgot I'd left my briefcase on the floor. Same floor his blood gushed out onto. I know, Zach, I know. Now isn't the time for a trip down memory lane. an emergent drug that's been on the rise in 4 southern states. Personally, I think it originated right here in Louisiana. And Lise Clarkson's murder must be connected to it somehow. The 16-year-old girl who was murdered. Her body was found beneath a bridge over the bayou, along with a strange altar. The powerful man who essentially controls the town of Lucare. And he seems to be more fearsome than your average gangster. I doubt he'll be willing to cooperate with any law enforcement, Zach. You know, I keep thinking about that movie we stopped to see on our way here, Zach. The Island, 2005, directed by Michael Bay. For a movie being shown at a cinema complex, it was surprisingly artistic. An experimental setting mixed with hard-hitting drama. It was art house sci-fi. That director's going to change the history of art house films.
Michael Bay,
Are you following me here? This is another special film that's setting a new standard, just like Star Wars and Blade Runner did.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is a turning point, Zach. You may be witnessing the birth of a vital new word that will soon become a part of film history. Yes, this single movie may be responsible for creating a whole new genre several years down the line. A genre known as island movies. I sure like the sound of that. Don't you, Zach?
Pretty sure that didn't happen. I could be wrong. Who's knocking on my door? In this game, you can use phones to save your progress. Phones are located inside certain facilities around this town and can be used whenever you wish. Saving off will definitely help your investigation go more smoothly. What the? That doesn't seem like something you'd want in your room. In a hotel or, you know, ever. It's not like a stylistic thing, it looks very much legit and evil. Do not want to shave right now. Nor shower. Closet. Oh, I can change clothes. Toolbox. What does this do? You use toolbox to store items and take them back out later. You can only hold so many items on your person at once, so you'll need to utilize the toolbox sooner or later. You can only use the toolbox when you're standing near one, so be careful about which items you choose. Oh, what's in here? Already had rubber bullets in here? Nice. Wow. I have a soda, which slightly alleviates those things. I have no idea what to take yet, so it's good to know I have like a store of things, though.
Hey there,
You still have
chef.
your bow tie on.
What's cooking?
Chef, what are you talking about, sir? I'm the concierge, David.
What?
I just heard from our chef that you wish to learn the meaning behind our town's name.
Yes, I've gathered that Lucare is French, but does it have any special meaning?
Why, yes, sir, of course it does. A very clear, logical meaning. All names have meanings. Would you like to know what this one means?
What is happening
Yes,
right
I
now?
would.
Even the same
Jolly
name.
good, sir.
Unless
Then
they're both
allow
named
me to
David
explain.
and identical twins.
Lucare means square in French.
Ah. And
That's it.
that's it?
Yes.
Just means square.
That's it, sir. Do take a gander at the town map in the lobby if it fancies you. It's beautiful, valuable, and old. I'm sure you'll understand once you see it. Now, please excuse me, sir. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
That was very strange.
Did you see that, Zach? That was clearly David.
Yeah.
Not a twin, not a split personality, just the work of a true professional. It's bizarre, but I can understand it. Remember what they say, the job
So he's the
makes the man.
concierge and the chef, and he's not schizophrenic. He just takes his job very seriously. Both jobs. Interesting. Interesting. Especially to be assessed by York, who is actually schizophrenic. I meant to restart. Damn it.
Do you feel that, Zach? Dozens of paintings no one will ever see. The faint scent of tobacco baked into these walls for over a century. Now that's what I call a hotel. Zach, can you see him? His fashion sense is beyond me, but he appears to be a gentleman. Perhaps we should talk to him.
What? That flame was clearly moving in that painting. Unless it's a mirror. Either way. What? The F. Yep, flame's moving. That's a painting.
Nice tie. Did you buy it here?
It's been a long time since someone spoke to me. No one these days ever tries to see me.
What the fuck is happening?
They can see what's far in the distance, but are blind to what's in front of them. No. Maybe they're only pretending not to see. That's what civilized society does to people.
Exactly. Ever since mankind got their hands on civilization, they zoomed away at a frightening speed.
Zoomed away from what?
Don't be a fool. You know the answer. As for me, just call me Hungan.
Okay.
Hunga. The title given to a leader in a certain religion. Is that what you are?
Why are all the paintings like this? They all
Do
haunted?
you comprehend the oracle?
The Oracle. Put on your religion hat, Zach. Here we go.
Felton maidens, in the shrine of hunger, find the flying serpent in the ambiguous zero. Dance with the flying serpent, and you will glimpse the other world.
10 maidens and an ambiguous zero. Got it. But what do you mean by otherworld?
follow the Oracle.
What?
Zach, did you hear all that? Looks like we've already taken our first step into chaos. But such is our duty. We need to accept the chaos, let it inside, then carefully dismantle it piece by piece. And after we've put all the pieces back into their rightful places, the truth will reveal itself. Let's capture the truth and present it with a shiny pair of silver bracelets, Zach.
Alright. What the hell is going on here?
Zach, this is Lucare. I think I'm finally starting to understand what our concierge was trying to say. You can tell this town was built by a very methodical person. No, wait. Maybe they just didn't care, and that's why it ended up this way. It's just another symbol of mankind's obsession with molding nature to fit our own rules.
Clearing missions left and right, because they're pretty basic so far.
Zach, what did you think of Hungan's oracle? Despite all the dramatic build-up, it's little more than a childish riddle. Heartwarming, really. Exactly the kind of feeling one gets from the good old-fashioned countryside. Now let's start by tracking down those 10 maidens. The oracle gave us a place and an act. We need to go to the Shrine of Hunger and fell 10 maidens. Now where in this town can one satiate their hunger? The hotel and where? And the 10 things that need to be knocked down. Simple, right? The answer is bowling. The shape of the bowling pin was based on the feminine form. The 10 maidens are the 10 pins.
Oh yeah?
But a place where someone can both eat and bowl at the same time. I'm skeptical as to whether we'll be able to find such a place in a backwoods town like this.
I'm gonna assume it's the diner and lane.
Alexis's Diner and Lane. This is it, Zach. There are even pins and a bowling ball on the sign. I bet we'll be able to eat some Cajun cuisine and bowl there. Maybe even both at the same time. Nice job, Zach. I knew you'd be able to find it. Now for the other oracle. There's no flying serpent on this map. Could it be a contrail or perhaps a dragon? I'm sure we'll find out later. First, let's just figure out where we need to go. Do you know what the ambiguous 0 represents? 0 is usually treated as a base number, but under what conditions would a base number be ambiguous? The answer is temperature, Zach. Yes. 0 degrees Fahrenheit is minus 17.7 degrees Celsius, and 0 degrees Celsius is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. You'd be hard-pressed to find a more ambiguous 0 than that. The question is, does our 0 refer to Celsius or Fahrenheit? Let's think for a moment. We're in Louisiana. Which measurement system do we use here in America?
Fahrenheit.
The Clarkson Food Delivery Services Cold Storage Warehouse.
Isn't that where they found the body? Waiting future, modern day.
That's got to be it. Even with this blazing sun in the sky, they can easily keep the temperature below freezing. Be honest now, Zach. You knew the answer from the very start, didn't you?
You got money for that? Cool.
And how about that Hoongan? What a mysterious character. His oracles may end up determining how much time we spend in this town.
I was honestly thinking it might be a different type of hunker, because that can mean different things, but...
Sorry, boss, but this is a smoke-free hotel.
Oh god, David.
If you're dying to smoke, head out the entrance and you'll find a smoking area in the rear parking lot.
Don't tell me. You're the
At your
bellboy.
service, boss.
Are you good friends with the concierge and the chef?
We work at the same place, yeah. But, I can't really say whether we're good friends with each other. We're all professionals, though. Nothing more, nothing less.
I believe we've struck gold here, Zach. It just screams Deep South, actually. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, not
This
quite.
is all his charm. So, if I want to smoke, I should go out the entrance and around to the rear parking lot?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay. I'll play by your rules.
Get a strike. I gotta get a strike at the bowling lanes? Alright. Interesting. Weird objective to have. Oh, because I have to knock down 10. Right. Duh. Still a weird quest objective.
Hey, boss. How can I be of service?
Okay, so some of these lines aren't narrated? That's interesting. Okay. So he decorated the first floor bathroom and showed, and the water pressure is high. Interesting, I guess.
Whether it's a restaurant or a hotel, the key to charming your customers is how you present your bathroom. I'm sure you feel the same way, don't you, Zach? Now this is the kind of bathroom a person can really get excited about. It might even trump the one we saw in that drug dealer's house in Austin. Remember? The art piece on display in there utilized the natural curves of human ribs in such a novel way. It was truly brilliant.
Alright, so I can sprint. Fight. What the hell? I thought that was somebody's shoes, but I don't think it is. Maybe a plant? Whatever's on the other side, this doesn't look like normal stall area. I think that's the decorations he was talking about. Let me in.
Zach, here's another perfect symbol of the human condition. Hunting trophies. And it's a buffalo hunting trophy. Now that's a surprise. I've seen several trophies made out of human skin, but never a buffalo's. Looking at him brings out this strange feeling from within me. Yes, the very same feeling I got when watching a certain film from 1984, directed by Peter Hyams. 2010. The last scene in that film filled me with such a sublime, majestic feeling. It was filled with everything that was missing from the finale of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Just talking about it makes me want to watch it again. Let's watch it once we get home. Promise, Zach.
Alright, I suppose we could get about our business here. That's mission 12. Alright. So I'm supposed to go to this first. This doesn't have a time frame. 8 to 17. The time of day does matter.
Compared to non-smokers, smokers have a 4.7 times greater chance of getting lung disease.
It's really
You know
not
that
high,
means it's more
surprisingly.
likely than
4.7
getting
times.
asbestos poisoning?
The risk of death from lung cancer is actually much lower than what you think it is.
Yeah, only 4.7
In fact,
times
it's
more.
tiny when compared to
someone
heart
who's a
disease,
non-smoker?
strokes, and pneumonia.
Surprising.
We're always surrounded by easy ways to die, you know. Some people even get randomly struck by lightning and die right there on the spot.
Then I reckon you also know that secondhand smokers have 1.3 times greater the risk compared to smokers?
Of course.
So you won't mind paying the damages when I die of lung disease? How about writing that in a contract for me? You got a pen, right?
You don't need to be standing in the smoking area, alright?
I promise to protect you from all the evil in our world. Well, that's stupid. By the way, what's your name?
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, just call me York. That's what everyone calls me.
Is something wrong with you? Adults ain't supposed to act like that. I only asked for your name so I can write it on the contract. You should have been able to figure that out if you're a real FBI agent like you said. Come on, sign here. Right here on the paper.
Why would I sign this?
Just as I thought, Zach. This contract paper. It's a Sang Rouge wrapper. Sang Rouge is here, too. This must mean that Sang Rouge is connected to the Lise Clarkson murder case somehow. This is a sprawling case that spread across the entire South. It's within our jurisdiction, Zach. We'll need to steal the right to investigate from the local authorities at once. By the way, miss, what's your name?
Patricia Woods. But I gotta write my name myself, or else it won't be a real signature.
Was this the girl that was found modern day?
Tell me, Patricia, does this town have a sheriff? Or is it under the jurisdiction of the nearest city police?
Perfect timing. Well, go on and steal it if you want it. I was just thinking about how this is way out of my daddy's league.
Thank you for the information, Patricia. Okay, Zach, it's time to get to work. How should we seize control from the sheriff this time?
R is also dodge. Okay. Crouch. I don't see him doing a dodge when I click that. Okay. Okay. Why do I see something way over there? You see that? It's interesting. What the hell was that sound? Interesting sheriff's car.
Hey there. So, you're the fella from the FBI I've been hearing so much about. I'm Melvin. They call me the sheriff round here.
FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan? But call me York if you can. That's what everyone calls me.
Huh? Well, all right. Mr. York. How's that sound?
Fine by me.
I'm sure you figured this out, but our town's a small one. Yeah, folks are already busy spreading gossip about how some FBI agents come to town. Now, I reckon you came from the city. What was it? D.C., L.A., or New York? Anywho, in the city, it's normal not to know who your neighbor is. Fella who moves in next to you could cook up a dozen folks in his backyard and no one would bat an eye. That's the city for you. Now, I never lived in one myself, but I visited them a few times, so I know what it's like. All pigs must die in the city of wolves. Yeah! Now, does that sound badass or what? I bet you'd... Hey! I know, CLG. I'm just trying to make a little small talk, that's all. Anywho, round these parts, everyone knows each other's name. So lots of folks get leery when they see an étranger like you. And since it's my duty to protect the town, I thought I'd stop by and say hello.
Zach, it looks like this sheriff is quite the happy-go-lucky type. A clear indication of just how peaceful this town is. Melvin, about the Lise Clarkson case.
I knew you were here for that case. Can't put one past the FBI. So they even got eyes on the smallest of towns like us, huh? Our world is filled with information, and it's all within their grasp. FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
The Lise Clarkson case is connected to a top-secret case that we've...
I know. If you're fixing to take the lead, then go right ahead. I'm just the humble sheriff of a tiny little town. My jobs are to stop my neighbors from beating the piss out of each other and listen to old folks complain. Honestly, this whole murder case has been weighing me down. So I'm gonna give you my full cooperation, Mr. Special Agent, sir.
That was easy.
Well, Zach, that was anticlimactic. I didn't even get to use my secret weapon. Melvin, there's a cold storage warehouse on the southern end of town, isn't there? I'd like to get permission to enter it.
Say what?
You want to see where the body's being kept, right?
Oh, I get it now. Lisa's body, yeah. Now, that's what I call a special agent. You already figured that much out. But, I'm not too sure that, going down there at this point is really gonna help much, you know?
Explain it yourself, Daddy.
That's incredible. I don't believe this. Amazing. Did you hear that, Zach? They put the body in a cold storage warehouse. This is fantastic. Insanely fantastic.
Really? Well, how about that? Well, all right then. I'll head on down to the warehouse ahead of you and make sure we get permission to search it.
Sounds good.
The management company only keeps the warehouse open during certain hours, so you'll have to come during those hours. I ain't looking to create any further disturbances. So be on time. Got it? Come on, let's roll, CLG.
I'm gonna walk home, Daddy. I still got another stop to make.
Oh, if you say so, sweetie. She's a real sharp one, as you can see, so I try to stay out of her way. Well, all right then, York. I'll see you at the warehouse.
Alright then. Do I get the skateboard now? Yeah. Your skateboard is your main method of getting around, Luke Carey. Y to get on and off skateboard, A to speed up, B to slow down. Okay. Alright, so we have mission 4. I like how it marks it on the compass. Mission 12 is that way, that's the bowling lanes. Mission 4 is that way. Alright. Okay. Speed up. Whee! Oh man, this does not handle well.
Hey, you.
Use.
You ain't secretly cutting kids up and sticking them into jars while you work as an FBI agent on the surface, are you?
What?
Or using your FBI connections to sell kids to child trafficking organizations?
I've arrested people who've done both, but I've never engaged in either of those activities myself. Of course, I have imagined doing such things in order to learn more about the psychology of the criminals I deal with.
It was just a joke. Why are you getting all serious?
Mm-hmm.
And don't tell me what you imagine, or else I'll get scared of you for real. Hey, can I come with you? You signed a contract with me, remember? And besides, I'm kind of worried about my daddy.
Do whatever you like. This is America, land of the free. But I have one condition.
What condition?
Don't ask me about Zach. It's a private matter. Zach, it feels like she's carrying something with her. Kind of reminds me of you back when we first met. I can't leave her alone like this. You feel the same way, don't you?
Okay. I think she disappeared. Also, carrying something, I think, is referencing the fact that Zach saw his mom die. Like some kind of tragedy or scars.
Melvin called you a strange name. CLG, I think. What exactly does that mean?
Clever little girl. That's what it stands for, at least. It's nice that he made up his own nickname for me and all, but it sounds kind of weird. I wish he'd call me something normal, like just Patricia or Patty, you know?
Patty? Now that name's got a ring to it. I like it. How about Zach and I call you Patty from here on out?
Do whatever you like. Weirdo. You're heading to the warehouse, right? You gonna go straight there?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I'll have to talk to Zach. We're also on a mission to fell 10 maidens, you see. I'm eager to visit Alexis's diner in Lane, but we've only just arrived in this town, so it might be nice to stroll around a bit.
What? I thought you came here to investigate.
Patty, you're still just a child. Why do you worry so much? We're born to be free. And this is America, land of the free. You should always feel free to do whatever you want. Isn't that right, Zach?
Maybe I shouldn't have come with you. I'm getting kind of nervous now.
Hmm. This is the sheriff's department. Hmm. Just curious, does it go down slower when I'm moving? It's hard to tell. It goes up pretty fast either way, unless it's in the red. That did seem to go slow. I think it might move faster when I'm not moving. Just a little bit though. Is that a blue squirrel? Are these squirrels attack? What is happening? Why do they have exclamation points over their head? Stole a rubber bullet from me. What? Give me that. Use vision to acquire important hints that will help you proceed to using visual to complete your concentration by using too much. Yeah, I knew that. What the hell just happened? Did they keep those items? I'm gonna be upset if they stole those items and I don't get any back. 2 bullets were taken from me and a lollipop. I got the lollipop back. What the hell?
By the way, Patty, what do you usually do when you're at home?
Is this an interrogation?
Oh, no. I just figured that since we're working together now, it'd be a good idea to learn a little more about you.
Should an adult male like you really be asking a little girl this kind of question? Feel like I heard a story about this sort of thing on the news once.
There's a time and a place for everything. You know exactly who I am, and I've also introduced myself to your father. Besides, you're the one who said you wanted to come with me.
I was just...
Oh. Apparently I skipped that. So these X's on the map are for items? It's kind of hard to see that. Lizard skin. What? So these are materials for crafting?
Okay, Patty. I'm going to try asking you that question again. What do you do when you're at home?
I watch TV and look up stuff on the internet, I guess. Ain't much else to do when you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Really? For some reason, I envisioned you working hard to take care of all the chores around the house.
Well, of course I do stuff like that too. But doesn't everyone? Why bother talking about it?
Other kids your age don't help out their parents. They're too busy talking with their friends on the phone or through emails.
That's stupid. I don't get why everyone's so obsessed with taking pictures of themselves. Then they send them to their friends just to get approval. Talk about cringeworthy.
How do you prefer to boost your self-esteem, then?
I don't need to. I have my family. And besides, my daddy's the town sheriff. All I need to be happy is a normal life.
That's awfully mature of you.
Everyone else is just childish. I'm totally normal.
Okay, then. So what do you do after you finish all your chores? You don't turn on CNN and pour yourself some bourbon, do you?
CNN? That's kid stuff. What I watch is way more adult than that.
Like what? Live sports?
You just don't get it, Agent York. Full House, Friends, Beverly Hills 90210, sitcoms. Sitcoms are an all-in-one package. Dreams, love, life lessons, science fiction. They've got everything you'd ever want. And some cable channels just show reruns all day long. It's the best. Oh, but my favorite TV show is this old one called MacGyver. The main character is cute and smart. I don't know his real name, but I like him. Oh, and I also like Gil Grissom from CSI. I just think it's adorable how he keeps maggots inside his fridge.
All right then.
Thank you, Patty. That was very informative. Well, what do you think, Zach? Her tastes are... they're a bit hard to describe.
I did not mean to use that. So how do I know when he's hungry other than going into the red room? So are these all just crafting items? What's in here? I gotta get ambushed by a bunch of squirrels right here. Anaconda skin, high quality bead. Okay. What does that symbol mean? You see that tree? Alright. Should probably get on our way.
So you clearly love TV shows, but what about movies?
Why does it skip when I hit A?
Hey, let's chat.
Want to hear about all the depraved serial killers I've encountered so far?
No, thank you. Forget what I said.
It's a very pink house. So using this tags all the stuff on my map. That's why I was seeing all these X's. Can I vault over stuff? Can I jump? I got attacked by hornets. Killer bees. Don't tell me it's on the other side of this fence. Not being able to get over certain items is going to be a problem. But other than that, pretty sure it's a federal offense to open these, but alright. You should know better, Francis. I don't know what I'm gonna need these for, but I feel like having them at some point I'm gonna be glad about. You know what I mean? Oops. Symbol I saw last time I used my... You see that? Can I aim at that? Looks like a UFO holding a box. I don't know what that is. I don't know what to do with it. It's very bizarre. Very, very, very bizarre. Hunger and sleep are both okay. Oh, it shows you how much it'll fill you up. That's good. I think concentration refills, because I feel like I used more than that. Okay, I'm extremely curious as to Clarkson delivery food delivery services. What is this? Seriously, what is that?
Mr. York, that was mighty quick. The special agent does it again. You sure don't waste any time. I bet my CLG's got a lot to learn from you. By the way, Mr. York, looks to me like you aren't packing anything.
I was on vacation in New Orleans before I happened to stop by here.
Well, shoot, that won't do. Here, I got something I think you'll like.
There we go. When's it red?
I call him Mr. Alligator. Badass, ain't he? It's a tranquilizer gun for the gators.
Alright. Non-lethal gun made for self-defense. It can only fire rubber bullets.
And here's a radio. With this, you won't have to worry about any expensive roaming fees. Might take you a while to get used to them, but you'll get it. Try letting them rip a few times. Ain't no need to hold back out here.
Alright. Point gun, aim, fire. Okay. A is to reload. Alright. I have quite a few of these bullets.
I know. I don't want to feel, but you know what they say, Zach. Sometimes it's better. Let's finish our work up here first.
Okay. I didn't mean to run too far. It's a little sensitive. The aim on that has a huge circle for missing. So I missed those first two shots. I thought I hit the boxes, they just didn't blow up. I did not.
Now this is an intriguing weapon. For a tranquilizer gun, it really packs a punch. But I'm afraid I'll decline. After all, this town is peaceful, isn't it?
Well, sure it's peaceful. At least the humans are. But the animals, are a different story. Remember what I named it? There are some real mean-ass gators out there in the swamps. And every now and then, they wander into town. One of them even went and ate a kid once. It happened a long time ago, but still, one chomp's all it takes. They swallow down every last bit of you. Poor kid's parents didn't even know what to put in his coffin. The worst part is, that taught the gators just how tasty we humans are. So now, those suckers just attack on sight.
Oh God.
Man-eating crocodiles will feast tonight. In Blood Swamp!
Mm-hmm.
You know he's fibbing, right? Gators don't attack folks. I never heard about no kid getting swallowed by a gator.
Actually, Patricia, you're wrong.
I'm what?
Alligators do attack people, and it could happen in any town.
Huh?
Alligator, 1980. Directed by Louis Teague. It takes place in the Midwest, I believe. A teenage girl's pet alligator gets flushed down the toilet. Then, in the sewer, it feeds on the corpses of dogs that were used as test subjects for an experimental growth formula. After growing over 30 feet, it finally starts to go after humans. It's an extremely edifying movie. Back when I first saw it, I had a pet hamster.
Hey, Agent York. What's your first order of business? You're in charge now, remember?
Well said, Patricia. I nearly lost sight of my true goal. Melvin, I couldn't help but notice the name on the side of that truck. This facility is connected to the victim, isn't it?
Oh, right. Yeah. I reckon I better start from there. I'm gonna tell it to you straight right from the beginning, Mr. York. As you guessed, this warehouse is run by the Clarksons. The victim's father, Danny Clarkson, is the one who manages the whole place. Okay, but why did he choose to store her body in his own warehouse, right? Well, that's 'cause there ain't no other place to store it. Our town has a clinic inside a church, but no more. Whenever someone kicks the bucket, we just bury him in the graveyard right outside of town. But not this time. We got a murder on our hands this time. We need to give Lisa's body an autopsy and keep it stored, right? So we had no choice but to rent out a corner of this warehouse.
I see. So that's what led to the ingenious choice to store the victim's body in a facility that her family owns.
Anywho, this is where the real story begins. Truth is, a few days before you got here, Lisa's body went missing.
Missing?
Yeah. All of a sudden, poof.
Did you leave the warehouse unlocked?
I most certainly did not. I locked the whole place up and made sure no one could get inside. No one stole the original key, and I couldn't find any fingerprints at the scene.
So, in other words, this is a locked room mystery.
The body of a beautiful young girl walks at mid... Hey! all right, CLG. Reckon I should have told you about this earlier when you first said you wanted to come here. It just didn't seem like the time or place as I remember. Anywho, how about we call it a day and head back to my office? You can go through all the files there.
No, thank you. This is what I came to investigate.
But Lisa's body isn't here anymore. You sure?
That doesn't bother me one bit, Melvin. You see, I met a skeletal gentleman on my way here, and he was kind enough to give me an oracle. Hey, let's shout something out loud.
Like what?
Chocolate Sundae.
Okay, sure. Actually, never mind. This is stupid.
You holding up okay, CLG? Sure you don't want to wait outside?
I'll be fine, Daddy. Just make sure you don't take your eyes off of him. He's so selfish and inconsiderate. I'm still not convinced he's actually a real FBI agent. Look, he's talking to himself again.
Zach, this is the ambiguous zero, the deep freeze. Let's hurry up and find that flying serpent, shall we?
Okay. Oh, nice. Access my toolbox. I don't really need anything right now. My health is basically full. Everything is basically full. Definitely saw something over here. Give me that. Bullfrog leg. What?
Hey, Mr. York. You sure you want to keep investigating this place even though you know the body ain't here?
Don't we want to figure out how and why the body got stolen? This is a crime
Of course,
scene.
Melvin. The skeletal gentleman gave me an oracle, remember?
That too. That's another great reason to be here. Still a crime scene. So, either way.
Skella what?
You heard me, bitch.
He's just joking, Daddy. You can't take him seriously.
Oh, I'm dead serious, woman.
Huh? Well, was that really a joke, Mr. York? Well, I'll be. I see you've been hiding some real charm into that whole FBI routine.
Sure.
Sorry, Melvin, but I'm dead serious.
Get down to the storage place music.
Good God almighty. This place always gives me goosebumps, no matter how many times I come here.
Yes, it's quite the fun house. Truly a dazzling place. Meet entertainment. That's the only way to describe it.
No, it's the only way.
Woven together by life,
I don't even know if it's
frozen
a
in
way,
time,
honestly.
a visceral, musical.
Symphony. We eat all this in order to survive.
Yes, truly a symphony. Life and death, resonating.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Cool. Whoa now, CLG. Since when were you interested in this kind of stuff?
What are you so surprised for, Daddy? I'm more mature than you are.
I believe that.
I've seen way more realistic corpses on CSI, you know.
Man.
At first, Zach, I was shocked by the notion of storing a victim's body alongside food. But as I gaze upon this hanging garden, I realize it's just another scene of violent, depraved murder. Yes, all we need to do is change our point of view, and things will expose themselves in utterly new ways.
Hey, Mr. York. This is kinda, yeah.
Melvin, if you have something to say, then just go on and say it. Otherwise, you'll simply be insulting this beautiful landscape.
You think this is beautiful?
Oh, yes. It's the abnormal world that supports our normal lives. I think that's wonderful, don't you? Besides, look, Patricia seems to be handling this a lot better than you are.
Well, you see, I ain't too good with this protest stuff.
Don't let it get to you, Daddy. Whew. Everyone has at least one thing they're afraid of. Even you, right, Agent York?
Something I'm afraid of?
Yeah, that's right. You gotta have at least one thing.
Red trees?
Like clowns.
Clowns are so funny. How could anyone be scared of them?
Fuck clowns. Clowns are terrifying.
Zombies.
Love them.
A bucket full of worms.
I could squeeze them with my bare hands.
I don't know about that. I'm afraid of them, but squeezing a bucket full of worms. Sorry, no.
The sound of screeching glass.
Doesn't bother me.
Then...
They cling to your skin like putrid leeches, robbing you of much more than your vitality.
You're like a tagline writer, bro.
The wet socks.
Melvin, you're a genius.
Not going that way. I guess I'll use one when I first see that it's not going to fully refill it. Like, getting the max use out of it, I guess. Alright, there's a bunch of stuff over here. Yeah, the phone.
Melvin, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you a personal question. In the hotel parking lot, when I first met you, the picture you had on your dashboard happened to catch my eye. Was that your wife?
Oh, her? Yeah, that's my lady, all right. Candy. Her name's Candy. The prettiest girl in town, which makes me the happiest boy. A shooting star landed in a rural town, right on top of a man who now has a meteor-struck heart.
You always keep her photo with you?
You bet I do. The truth is, Candy's a little sick right now. She can't even leave the house no more. So I always keep her photograph with me. Kinda feels like we're all...
I see. You care for your wife a great deal. But this means that...
Yeah, that's right. My mama had me before she married Daddy. But it don't matter. He's still my real daddy to me.
Oh, thank you, CLG. And you're my pride and joy.
Well, Zach, isn't this a heartwarming scene? But there's one thing I just can't get out of my mind. Don't you think that photograph looked a bit too old? Perhaps Candy is already No, let's not think about that. It might be a private matter, just like you, Zach.
Wow. There's a lot of stuff in here. Nope. I'm trying to get to. Oh, this is where I need to go. What's all this stuff? Show me the craftable items. Or money. Either one. Sometimes you come across hidden passages in areas that cannot be entered through normal means. Whenever you find a suspicious area, you should try looking at it from a different perspective. In other words, press the left stick in and crouch to keep moving. I am crouched. What do you mean? Is that just a learn how to crouch thing? Because I can't do anything here. Okay. There's a bunch of stuff back there. It bothers me. I can't interact with these rolling carts. Crouching didn't actually help me here. Can't get through the area, period. Alright, maybe I can eventually. This appears to be where they found the body in present day, too.
Here we are, Zach.
Cut up and
The morgue.
frozen in a big block of ice at the very beginning.
They stored the victim's body in a cold storage warehouse operated by her family. I'd love to shake the hand of whoever came up with that one.
Hey, Agent York. Did you just come here to laugh at rural officers who are doing the best they can? We don't have any special facilities like you people. What else did you expect us to do, huh? Don't compare us with city folk. This is Lucare. Or maybe you're just disappointed that you didn't get to see the bloated, decomposing corpse of a young girl.
Jesus.
Sorry, you're right. I went a bit too far just now. But don't misunderstand. I honestly think it's a fantastic idea. I'd never try and bully your daddy.
Better not.
Thank you for understanding.
Bare footprints. That's weird. It's very weird. There's a lot to investigate.
Boxes of the past or presence of the future? Either way, this is a curious time capsule. Forgotten boxes. Looks like shelled headless shrimp. When were these boxes brought here? And when will they be? Zach, can you feel it? The perpetual, unstoppable flow of time. Boxes that got left behind. I can't tell what's inside. What do you think, Zach? I'm gonna go with okra. Yeah, okra. I'm sure it must be okra. That's a staple of the South.
That's true. Never cooked or seen okra anywhere outside of the South.
An icicle. Never thought I'd see one of these down in the South. Zach, can you see that? Look closely. That's right. There are 4 imprints in the frost on the top of this.
That's weird.
It's hard to believe, but I think these are fingerprints.
Also, massive footprints on the bottom. Bare footprints.
Yes, Zach, that would lead one to
Bigfoot.
believe that the body napper is a giant who's over 10 feet tall.
Which would be insanity, right? Right? Please tell me I'm right on that one.
Zach, these are human footprints, and they're extremely large. Yes, Zach, I agree. These footprints must belong to someone who's used to walking around in cold temperatures. These pallets are a mess. Looks like this area isn't used often. Still, the idea to store a body here, it's a novel, sophisticated idea, unlike anything I'd ever come up with. Look at the thermometer, Zach. It's at 10 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 12.2 degrees Celsius. This must not be the ambiguous 0. This frost is shaped like something we're very used to seeing. That's right, a body bag. Lisa's body must have been left here. But there are no signs that the bag was dragged away. So our criminal must possess monstrous strength. Seems like our flying serpent isn't here. Is this everything, Melvin? There aren't any other rooms in this warehouse? No special rooms?
Well, there is the luxury foods warehouse.
Luxury foods? Why didn't you say so earlier?
Just thought you wanted to see where the body... I just thought you were only interested in warehouse number 2. Besides, it's underground, so it's even colder than this.
Perfect.
You sure you really want to go down there? You could darn well freeze to death.
All life will come to an end in the icebound zone. You feel me?
Let's head there at once. I'm sure that must be where we're meant to go.
But what about searching for Lisa's body?
All we need to do is find a 10-foot tall man with monstrous strength. That giant knows where she is.
10 foot tall?
But finding the flying serpent is more important right now. Now please, guide me to the luxury foods warehouse at once. These luxury foods are most likely being used in local Cajun cuisine.
Flying serpent's like the family crest.
I'm so excited to see what we'll find. Aren't you, Zach?
What he said the family crest looks like. So I think time stops passing when you're in an event or a place like this. 1032. I think it only passes while you're in the open world.
A 10-foot tall giant? All right.
I mean, there were fingerprints
Now
on
that
the
one's
lamp.
gotta be a joke, right, Mr. York?
Right. Totally kidding. 100%. Can you let me move this? I don't understand why I can go here and why there's a thing there.
That elevator needs a key, Mr. York.
Do you have one?
Actually, no. I didn't think you'd ever want to go down there. So I didn't bother to go and get one.
Well, then would you go and get one now?
COG, I know. I'll tell it to him straight. Thing is, Mr. York, you know the Clarksons? The folks who own this place? Well, they don't too much like the police. And they sure as hell don't like them when they're my color. It was, real hard for me to get permission to open up this place for you to search through. So they ain't gonna be too happy if I go back to them now, asking for another key.
What should we do then?
Let's just find a worker here who can lower the elevator for us instead. All they need to do is take a break from their work for a couple minutes.
And what am I supposed to do? Just stand here and pretend like nothing's happening?
Yeah, you FBI folks are good at that, right? That's always what I see you doing on TV.
Convinced that space where I can crouch is gonna be important.
Zach, I think we can move this. Better check back here as well, just to be on the safe side. Zach, the human ability to adapt is a frightening thing. Some humans have the power to sleep anywhere as long as they set their minds to it.
Sleeping on the job. Sure. Still feels my hunger key for the elevator that leads to luxury foods warehouse.
Now we should be able to operate the elevator. No need to worry. This facility no longer has a body to steal. What else do they have to lose? A few cans of crawfish? I feel bad for him, but it's for the sake of the investigation. I'll write him a letter of apology later.
Probably will too. Sorry, bro. Bear.
Mr. York, did you find a key? Ha! Now that's my special agent. There ain't no stopping you.
Totally.
Want to head straight down?
You bet. Let's sally forth, Melvin.
Don't call me Sally.
Zach, look at that thermometer. (0°F, or minus 17.7 degrees Celsius. This is the ambiguous zero.
Hey, Avery! Can you hear me? Open the damn door, Avery! It ain't no use, Mr. York. Once Avery starts working on something, that's all he sees. He just tunes out everything else. We'll have to wait until he finishes and comes out to us, I reckon. Or we could come back tomorrow.
I disagree, Melvin. Time may be on our side, but that doesn't mean we should waste it. You gave me Mr. Alligator precisely for moments like these, didn't you?
Wait, Mr. York! Those tranquilizers may be non-lethal, but it's still dangerous to use them on humans.
Of course, Melvin. I never said I was going to shoot him.
You're gonna shoot some meat to get his attention. I'm right, ain't I?
All right. Hooah. Mm-hmm.
This is Mr. York, an agent from the FBI.
Wow, you are massive.
Hi, Avery. I'm Special Agent Francis York Morgan. Please, call me York.
York, you a smarty pants, huh?
He's shyer than he looks. Come on, just settle down, Avery. Tell him what this here place is for.
Lots of expensive food here. Yup. Mighty precious to the Clarksons, so I gotta guard it.
I see. So you're this area's keeper.
Oh, I help with the research too. I do like research.
Research? What are you talking about, Avery? This doesn't look like a lab to me.
Oh, ain't no lab. It's a warehouse. Ain't no lab. The smarty pant scientist does the research. I ain't no smarty pants, no.
He's a bit slow in the mind, but he ain't a bad guy. Oh. A story about the giant who carried Lisa out. Don't tell me you think it's him. I mean, it's true that he's free to come and go as he pleases in this warehouse, but...
No, as far as I can tell, he's just a bit over 6'5". The one who moved Lisa's body must be at least 10 feet tall. He's clearly too short.
Too short, huh? Well, if you ever happen to find a man who makes him look small, I'd sure like to meet him.
Lise.
Hey, cut it out!
Lise. Why?
Avery, that's not Lise.
Not Lise?
This is Melvin's daughter, and my precious assistant. Unfortunately, Elise is no longer with us.
Lise. Lise. My fault. My fault.
I guess he's sort of like Lise, you know? See, the poor fella's got himself a childlike mind. You know how normal kids tease other kids in order to get attention? Well, with this big lug, sometimes folks who don't know him too well see something and end up calling the police. But I know that deep down, he's got a good heart. Hey, Mr. York, I'll keep him busy, but I'd appreciate it if you'd hurry this particular inspection along. Just holler at me if you find anything. I reckon that'll make it easier for you to go do your thing, yeah?
Melvin, I think you're finally starting to catch on. Hung alligators. I suppose in a way they sort of look like flying serpents. But that's pushing it. Remember, we're in a dark basement here. They'll never reach the sky. And Dewey. Now here's some real Cajun. The way these sausages are linked up, they almost look like a serpent. But it's hard to imagine them flying. Let's move on, Zach. There are torn-off claws and legs scattered all over I doubt they'll fly anytime soon. I can't tell which ones are from crawfish. How about you, Zach? Avery, this box looks special.
Clarkson food. For their home.
Melvin, is this the Clarksons' family crest?
Oh, the dragonfly?
Dragonfly? Flying serpent?
Yeah, that's the Clarksons' mark, all right. Ain't no big deal, though. You can find those all over town.
Is that so?
Well, yeah. They pretty much run all of this town's major industries. Yeah. I do believe they own just about everything there is to own. So their word is law. They got the whole darn town tattooed with their dragonflies. Can't even walk a few steps without seeing one.
Zach, this dragonfly is our flying serpent. The flying serpent owns this town. They're related to Lise Clarkson, our victim. And Hungan's oracle pointed us toward their family crest. The Clarksons must be deeply intertwined with this case. Melvin, Patricia, I think I've had enough of this frozen world. Let's head back out to that merciless sun. Well, what are you waiting for? I can't bear to spend another second down here.
Whew. So, what do we do now, Mr. York?
Zach and I will take things from here.
Then what should I do?
Tend to your sick wife? I don't know. You're free to do as you please. I'll stop by the sheriff's office when I need your help again.
I suppose that's what I'll do then. It'll sure make Candy happy. But I am the sheriff of this town, so I do intend to get some work done. I know. How about I search for Lisa's body while you're busy?
Not a bad idea. Just be careful that you don't get attacked by a barefooted giant.
Hey, don't scare me like that. Why do you keep talking about that giant anyway? You really think some giant was responsible for all this?
Melvin, don't be silly. Of course I do. Just when I thought you were starting to catch on. Disappointing, to say the least.
But how can you be so sure? I want to see some proof.
Proof number one. The footprints that led up to where Lisa's body originally was were made with bare feet. None of the prints looked similar to those of common insulated boots, and the arches of the feet were visible. The person who carried out Lisa's body must have had very large feet. I'd say they were at least 16 inches. Proof number two. I found fingerprints on the cord of one of the hanging lights in the warehouse. The fingerprints weren't aimed up from below. They were coming directly from the side. Clearly, the giant moved the light because it was in his way. He pinched the cord with his fingers. Proof number three. There was nothing else found in the vicinity where Lisa's body was stored. This means the giant carried her out without dragging her across the floor. But there's only one set of footprints. The only conclusion I can draw from this evidence is that a barefooted giant standing over 10 feet tall carried Lisa's body out. That concludes the entirety of my proof. Any objections, Melvin?
But there ain't no way a human could ever be that tall.
Have you seen every human alive with your own eyes? Well then, you need to forget all your preconceived notions when embarking on an investigation. Whether you come face to face with a 10-foot giant or a skeletal gentleman, you always need to accept everything that comes to you with a clear mind. Do that, and eventually the truth will reveal itself to you. You're a smart kid, I'm sure you understand.
Well, I'll be damned. I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
Mr. A sharp eye and flawless observational skills. Uncovering the truth with a heady intuition.
I won't ever question you again. Heck, I'll do whatever you say.
That's it, Melvin. I'm glad you finally caught on. Okay, time to go, Patty. You know this town well, so I'd like you to accompany me from now on.
Patty?
Zach, we found the flying serpent.
All right.
Now we simply need to locate the 10 maidens.
Bowling.
It's time to head on to Alexis's diner and lane.
Lanes, which makes me think there's actually only one bowling lane in there, which is going to be very strange, but right on point for this game. Alright. Well, we made it through the cold storage. Had a weird encounter, but not as weird as it could have been. So things are still relatively normal here. Little hint of strange. Oh, wait a minute. Before I go, because I am going. Let's see what we can do with this. Nothing? Alright, what about the UFO thing out here? Where was that? Wait, did it move? Oh no, okay. Boom! UFO bonus. Give me that. Because UFOs. I mean, okay. You want to say there's going to be UFOs? Do you? Alright. So that's it. I will see you soon with more Deadly Premonition. Bye.